to the Town of Bluff Planning and Zoning Regular Commission meeting. Today is Wednesday, January 4th. It's 6 p.m. We're meeting virtually and at the community center. Let's start with a roll call for commissioners. This is Amanda Podmore.
Marcia Haydenfeld.
Malia Collins.
Ed Dobson.
Alrighty. And Melissa Eggy is going to be serving as an interim planning and zoning commissioner, but she has an excused absence this evening. Or an excused absence. Oh, okay. All right. Well, we can begin tonight with an approval of the meeting minutes from our December 21st Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
Do you want to roll call Aaron and myself?
Oh yeah, let's do that. Roll call for town council.
Yep, it's Luann Hook, Town Council.
Aaron Nelson serving as town manager.
Thank you, Luann and Aaron. Okay, I will share meeting minutes. Okay, has everybody had a chance to review the meeting minutes? I will scroll down. Yeah. I added here that when we were talking about there being a gap in meetings between June and July, that we were going to leave that open until plans come certain, but that we were planning to hold a meeting during that time. Is that okay with everybody?
Amanda, did you, I agree you said something about that, but did you say as needed or we would do it for sure? It does that, it probably doesn't matter, but.
I said we would do it for sure.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And then Marcia made some corrections under other. Marcia,
yeah, it was just that those were the couple of things that I let you know from our P&Z emails. So I just wanted them corrected. The main one was the two things were, one, to make sure one owner owned the two lots. So I want to make sure that was clear. And then the other one was the request was going to be, or might come to be, a request for a change of zone, not for building in a zone. So I just wanted that cleared.
Okay. Anybody have any objections to those changes?
Nope, I looked over them and I agree that they look wonderful.
Thanks, Malia.
I move to approve the minutes of P&Z Wednesday, December 21st as amended.
I second.
Okay. Any discussion? All right, all in favor of approving the meeting minutes from Wednesday, December 21st as amended, say aye.
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 I'll abstain.
Okay. Motion passes with 3 ayes and 1 abstention from Ed. Thanks, everybody. Okay. Next on our agenda this evening is public citizens to be heard. So we'll offer folks up to 3 minutes to make a public comment. Would anybody like to make a public comment? Going once, going twice. All right, I will go ahead and close the public comment section of tonight's agenda. Okay, first on our agenda, old business. Let's have an update from Town Council. Luann, can you help us with that?
Sure. We met, let's see, I guess it was December 20th. It was the night before your meeting, and we didn't do an update on that meeting. So that's really the only one. We meet again on Friday for a work session. We did not meet yesterday. And then we'll have our regular meeting on the Tuesday, the 10th. So Friday, a work session, 9 o'clock in the morning, and then Tuesday at 10, or Tuesday at regular time. At the last meeting, a lot of it was housekeeping sort of things, but I'll just give you a couple things that I think you might just be generally interested in. There was public comment there. Jim Hook did a public comment that there was a plane that was flying over doing seeding. It's the joint restoration project with the state fire and restoration people, DNR. And anyway, they planted 600 pounds of native seed on the river bottom down below town, all over ag zoned land. But anyway, that was a public comment that we don't get a lot of, but anyway, he did let people know about that. AmeriCorps is gone. They finished their project. IT services is changing. Aaron, I think, is going to update you a little bit on that in a minute. Anyway, the outgoing county commissioners, we usually have somebody go or at least listen from afar. They voted to do, the outgoing two commissioners voted to do away with virtual meetings on their last meeting. But I think Erin had said she was able to listen in. So was it virtual or was it video or was it just?
Yeah, it was virtual this week, and it looks like Anne has an update, so it's possible that she received clarification that they'll continue on with the virtual.
Okay.
But it didn't sound that way, but the first meeting of the year was virtual.
Okay, because we did approve her to write a letter saying, hey, we need to be able to have attendance and all of that stuff from the south part of the county as well as the north part. So 3 EMTs have been trained, and that was part of the town supplying some funding for getting trained. I don't know anything more about it than that. Let's see here. Oh, and then Jim Sayers is still working on the fire suppression. There's it's an NEA grant, National Endowment for the Arts. They possibly will help with fire suppression, and it's another $50,000. So, but I don't think there was much else that really pertained to things. But Erin, if there was something else you think of that they need to or like to know.
The only one, did you mention the strategic planning session?
No.
Okay.
And no, go ahead. That's very important. No, that's good. Thanks.
No, well, and it wasn't like a formal update from town council. It's just been a lot of work over the holiday. But to keep on with the strategic planning process, the town and the consultants will be hosting a full day work session, essentially from about 8:30 to 5 p.m. on Wednesday, January 25th. And during that time, the consultants will be facilitating the creation of our big initiatives that then will be broken into small groups, and people will put the work in to work on these initiatives to create the strategic plan. So it's definitely a really big deal. We are reaching out to folks who have been identified as potential participants. We are also going to probably have the meeting recorded in some way or means. But our goal is to have good participation and come out with a really good product. So Wednesday, January 25th.
Thanks. Any questions for Luann or Erin? Alrighty. Let's move on to item 2 under old business, which is an update on new planning and zoning emails from Erin. Which you may not have an update, but I put it on there.
I'm glad. Please continue to hold me accountable. Unfortunately, the winter break was just as productive as I think any other governmental institution in terms of our IT updates. So no updates, but hopefully really soon, including one for Malia, because that is really important. It's a little tooth and nail to get this changed over, but once we're rolling, your part should be really easy. So please keep it on there. Hopefully I will have more information definitely in February. So
okay, great. Then final reminder for commissioners to do the Open Public Meetings Act training. Erin, have you received the certificates from everybody?
I think I am missing 2 of you, and that's just fine. I think our goal would be by the end of January, but definitely let me know if you have any issues getting in. Amanda said that it wasn't generating her certificate today. So if it does the same for you, you can send me just a screen grab of the course as 100% completed and I'll still log it. But certificates are always good if it does generate.
Thanks, Erin. Okay, under new business, item 4, land use clearances. We do not have any new land use clearance requests. Just as an update from our last meeting with Josh Lamb's land use clearance, he called me right after that meeting and I explained the situation with him, but I have not yet received the outstanding information that we need from him to grant that land use clearance. So I have followed up with him today, just to remind him that we have not yet issued that and we're awaiting that documentation. Any questions or anything on land use clearances? Okay. Item 5 is the election of planning and zoning officers. And so I have listed here chair and vice chair. I don't think we've had a secretary. So I was just considering those 2 positions. Marcia, go ahead.
I'd like to nominate Amanda Podmore as Chair of Planning and Zoning for 2023.
I second that nomination.
Okay.
And that's because I think you do a great job and you, in your jaunty hat, you look willing to continue.
Thanks. I just learned how to knit.
Nice job.
I accept that nomination. So should we do that as a motion?
We can vote on the nomination, can we not? I don't know that it needs a
Okay.
motion. It is I think it's an action by nomination.
Okay. Any other discussion?
No other nominations. Call the question.
Okay. I call the question. All those in favor of Amanda Podmore as chair of Planning and Zoning Commission say aye.
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 Okay, and I will abstain because it's about me.
No, you can vote for you.
So motion passes with 3 ayes and 1 abstention. Now for vice chair.
I nominate Marcia as vice chair.
Second.
Any discussion here?
I will be I would be honored. I will be glad to back you up, Amanda.
That would be wonderful. Okay. I will call the question to vote. All in favor of electing Marcia Hainville as vice chair for Planning and Zoning Commission, say aye.
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 All right. Motion passes unanimously. Wonderful. Are those 2-year terms? Is that what or is it yearly?
I think we've done it every year.
Every year. Okay.
It should be annual.
It seems to be the same person every couple of years, but I think we've done it each year.
Wonderful. All right. Well, thanks everybody. We appreciate your votes of confidence. Alrighty. Next on our agenda is just at the beginning of the year and with new officer roles, it's really good to review our individual planning and zoning commissioner roles. I'm going to share my screen really fast. This is a living document that we just update as needed. With a reminder of different responsibilities. So for the chair, which is now Amanda, those responsibilities are agenda setting, including drafting the agendas, preparing electronic meeting packets, making the Google Calendar and posting to Utah Public Notice website, running the meetings and sharing the screen during meetings. Anything that might be missing there? Well, I guess I'll review it as is and then we can update it. Vice chair, which is Marcia. In the past, the vice chair has conducted the duties of the chair in their absence, and served as a town liaison, attending town council meetings as needed, and writing and sending emails to the town email as needed. Then minutes management. This is something that Marcia and I share. So Marcia gets the draft minutes from Kathleen. She shares the draft minutes with the commissioners. I handle the audio recording, so recording and posting those. Marcia posts the draft minutes to Utah Public Notice website, I believe. And then I post the approved minutes to the Utah Public Notice website. And then Aaron notifies Stand on Record about anything we need to post in the newspaper. Documents management. So in the past, I've managed our Google Drive folder, just keeping it organized. I'm happy to keep doing that. And then in the past, Melissa would live edit any documents that we needed during a meeting. So that is something that would be great to fill, or we could ask Melissa to do that in her interim capacity. And then
I
lastly,
could do that.
You can do that? Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I got to get my name on this document somewhere, right?
Don't worry. We were going to put it on that for you.
Oh, great.
Wonderful. Thank you. And then other duties I have on here. Marcia generally responds to emails from the public that come into our planning and zoning email address. Ed physically posts the minutes, and Kathleen takes the minutes. Would anybody like to see any changes or additions here?
I have a question about vice chair, and that is that I'm happy to do the duties of the chair in your absence. I don't mind being the town liaison with regard to, I've often sent out messages to include both P&Z and town council, particularly in the event of information from emails and others. The only one I'm a little hesitant about is attending town council meetings. Are we saying that I'm supposed to go to all of them, or are we saying that if there's something we're doing as a team, as a commission, that's when I'm needed to do so? Because I would prefer the latter.
Yeah. I guess we could add clarity to that, because in the past this was my role and I did not attend every town council meeting. So
Okay.
We could either say as needed, or we could remove that altogether, because sometimes we as a commission might discuss
who should be there for which. Yeah. I have no problem going to a meeting for a specific thing we're trying to do, if it's my job to do so, for that item. I just don't want to be assigned to be at every meeting for the town council. So I'm not adverse to saying attending town council meetings when assigned as needed, or taking it off, whichever that you guys prefer.
I would like.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Ed. I'm sorry.
I would like as needed, but I'm not married to it.
I agree with as needed as well. Oh, sorry, real quick. But I also think we could even put it as reviews the day before the town council meeting, reviews the draft to determine if there is a need. So if we want to specify it further on that.
One of the things that comes up is attend town council meeting as needed if it's not assigned to someone else. Just a for instance would be, I don't know, if Malia was covering, that the particular discussion we had, then it might be Malia's assignment to be at that town council meeting, or anyone else's. It could be anyone else's. So I'm not trying to get out of going, just not going to all. Let's see. As needed, if not the responsibility of another. That's better. That's more specific.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that as well.
Attending town council meetings as needed, if not the responsibility of another commissioner. I think that says it. because I'm happy to go when assigned. Good, okay. And I don't mind the emails to the town email list. I assume that's going to be something that's an Erin, like where I write up something that needs to get out and it goes through Erin or something like that. In other words, I would imagine I'm not going to have permission to hit send to the entire town until it's gone through town management. So that would, to me, that would make sense. So I have no problem. Yeah.
I would say that's accurate. Thanks,
Yeah.
Marcia.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. Okay, I'm happy.
Okay. Any other comments or changes to these?
Madam Chair, I wasn't clear on what I heard a little bit ago. Did you say Ed posts the minutes?
Yes, we have you as still physically posting the minutes.
That's never happened. I just post the agenda.
Oh, I think that's supposed to
If
say.
we want minutes posted, I'll do it, but it's never been required. The town council does post its minutes, but we have never posted our minutes in hard copy.
Yeah. I think,
Our minutes are, of course, out there in the e-universe.
let's check in our League of Cities and Towns book. We might be required to post both. So let's get back to you on that, Ed. But
Very
thank
good.
you. You'll continue posting the agenda. That's great, and then we'll clarify the minutes piece. Or yeah. Yes. Okay. Any other questions or concerns or changes to this document?
Marcia, you're muted.
I saw that. So what we want to tell Ed is it's physically posting agenda and minutes, and we're going to confirm for him the minutes. Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
Okay, because it didn't say agenda a minute ago, and we're fixing that. Okay, great.
Alrighty.
Regarding the minutes management, Marcia and Amanda, are both of you comfortable with that? Or would you like to share any of those roles? I'm happy to take some of those since both of you have others that you've taken on.
I'm still comfortable with receiving the minutes from Kathleen and putting them out there. And then, so I'm the draft after guy. I'm the after draft person. And all I do is put them on PMN and send them out to council and commissioners. And Erin, when I remember to add her. And that's fairly straightforward. What I want to make sure is, and you could, maybe this is an Amanda Malia question, I just want to make sure that the adopted minutes, the approved minutes are being posted, because once in a while I'll see that I don't see them or I don't know where they are. So you guys can talk about that one. I'll keep draft if you want me to.
Yes, it'd be good to know whether we're going to post both the drafts and the approved minutes or just the approved minutes.
No, Ed, we've posted both on PMN all along. I just meant in the time sphere, when I go to post my draft stuff, I'm not always sure that the approved from the week before, from the meeting before, have been posted. So we have absolutely PMN, both of them, all along. Just, I'm staying
Understood.
out of.
My question is, if we're going to post minutes, are we going to post both draft and final? I mean, physically,
Yes.
hard copy.
Yeah.
No, you don't. Do you? Okay, wait a second. Ed, that's a good question. You must do draft and approved on PMN, but I bet you, and I don't know this for sure, but I bet you only have to do approved hard copy. But we'll find out. We should all check this.
Maybe not even that,
We'll
since we never have.
Yeah,
Well,
that's something.
I used to post the minutes back in the early days, so anyway, we'll check that tomorrow and get that updated for everybody. And Malia, I'm also comfortable continuing my role with helping with minutes and and Marcia, I'm now a lot better about, I do post the approved minutes when I post the recording, which is within 3 days. And Emily, the getting a login for the Utah Public Notice website is kind of a pain anyway. So I think we're fine having 2 logins, and then Aaron can sometimes help us in a pinch if we need that. So thank you for offering
Perfect.
that.
Yeah, totally. Just want to make sure you guys don't feel like you're doing too much. But I think you guys are doing wonderful at the positions you are, and I don't want to take them from you at all.
Well, rest assured, if I've become beleaguered, I will switch off and give you a call.
We'd rather you spend your time being our town EMT extraordinaire. So,
Gotta pass first.
oh, okay. All right, next on our agenda is reviewing a list of pending projects, documents, priorities from 2022. I took the liberty of turning that into a P&Z goals for 2023 because that's what we have done in the past. So apologies for not showing this more in advance, but it's pretty short, so we could look at it now. I'll start with 2022. Our goals were to think about what forms were needed, thinking about a fee schedule. Does the town have that? Looking at an idling ordinance and coordinating more working meetings, or just coordinating more generally with legal counsel, town council, water board, etc. And I think we wanted to looking at RVs, getting clarity on the noise ordinance in terms of, is that our responsibility or the town's? Complete existing ordinances, looking to enforcement, and then some other things like more communication on the legal aspects of our work, going beyond land acknowledgements in our work, looking at the question of residential occupancy and planning 2.0. That was our 2022 ideas. So up above, I put 2023 goals. So in terms of pending projects and documents, I went through our Google Drive today, and I didn't see a lot except that we did have a draft idling ordinance we could look at, we could revisit. There's our continued discussion about an RV ordinance, and we were still in the brainstorming phase in 2022, so we could revisit that. And then the only application form that I wasn't sure if it was unfinished was whether the town council had approved our site plan application form. But I think all of our other forms are finalized. Does anybody else have remember any pending projects or forms or documents that we want to make sure we're keeping track of? Marcia?
I don't, Amanda, and I am grateful for the work you did here, just corralling what we did. I guess I don't know if you're ready for comments or not, but I think my comment is that I would like to not focus on things like an idling ordinance draft that, that's just one more thing to pass and not enforce at the moment. I still think we need better better input and information as to what and how, what and how the town council decides about its enforcement, and therefore we back off a little bit about writing some things that might not necessarily be ours to write. I like the one about the RV brainstorm, because I believe that RV falls under some of our zoning and planning and zoning. And my suggestion is that we put it on our work, we sort of carry it through on our schedule, our agenda, as something we speak of quite a bit, and find out by putting all our ideas on there whether it's going to be a little piece of the zoning ordinance or it's going to be its own ordinance. Because if it's just a few words like you can only park them here and you can only park them here, then that's part of the zoning code. But if we're going to talk about density numbers, all kinds of things which I believe we want to talk about, it may in fact become its own separate document. So I like focusing on carrying that through whenever time is on the agenda to start writing down our ideas. I think we did do some basic outlines and we could use those. So I actually like the pending projects, except backing off a little bit on some of it.
Malia or Ed, what are your thoughts on this? Your priorities for 2023? Malia, go ahead.
I'll go ahead. I agree with the RV brainstorm session. I think that is something that we might be encountering in the next year based on the previous questions that I've heard from local citizens. So I think that's a great idea to go ahead and get an idea of what we're looking for and what we want to do so that when it comes up, we're not scrambling trying to figure something out. I was also thinking about the meeting that we had last time discussing the but discussing what it would be for us to change zoning on something. Maybe if we could start planning what that would look like for us. Let me look up what I'm trying to say, and then I'll come back to you.
Okay. I do know, I think, Malia, you're referencing a question from the public about can they make a zoning request change? And we do have a form they can submit. So essentially, we're only prompted to do that if they submit a form or if we see a need to. But
oh, okay, perfect.
Malia, there is a process in place for requesting a change and doing a change, and it includes things like we have to have a public hearing, and we have to, So I think I agree with you about the idea of not being prepared, that we don't want to be prepared. But I think for that specific question, I think we're okay because there's a process.
Perfect. Sounds great. Thanks. Don't have to look that up now.
Nice. Ed, what are your thoughts on 2023 priorities or things we should not prioritize?
I'm good with what's already been said.
I would say I am as well. I would suggest we keep the idling ordinance, as Marcia said, on the back burner because it's an enforcement issue. And I think the RV discussion is going to need a lot of research on our end. So committing to the brainstorming and research, but not necessarily the ordinance next year is a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
I like the enforcement piece that Marcia brought up, and then we will be asked to participate in these two planning processes. So the last question I have for you all is what you think about updating our land use clearance ordinance for clarity. That was the piece where we really stumbled over in our discussion with Patrick McDermott about whether or not I can't even remember the details. If a single family residence requires a site plan or not based on its size. And I think we found that the ordinance just wasn't super clear as it was written.
Well, I think I agree with you, Amanda. That was a good one to find. I mean, that's a good one to work on. I think we have the answer in the ordinance. We just didn't write it correctly in the LUC part. In other words, single family dwellings typically do not lead a whole thing, site plan, et cetera. So we need to clarify. And those are the kinds of things I think we've discussed where we've got to find all these little things, put them together to corrections. So we only have to have like one hearing on a bunch of corrections. Mm-hmm. So yes, I do like that as a priority.
Okay. I will leave that on there for now then. So, so it looks like essentially we have 5 priorities for 2023. Everybody good with that?
Just change that 2023 pending projects and documents, please.
Well, I meant like those were pending from.
Oh,
Here, I'll do that. Is that
okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Thanks.
clear? And then I'll put 2023 priorities here. Okay. Wonderful.
Would you like a motion to approve our goals or just accept them, or what would you like, Madam Chair?
Sure, let's do it. I'd entertain a motion.
I would make a motion that planning and zoning adopt the pending projects and 2023 priorities as commission goals for 2023.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all in favor of approving the motion, say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, motion passes unanimously. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Amanda.
Forward-looking thoughts. Yeah.
It's always nice to see it on paper so you can think it through. Thank you.
Okay, so next item on our agenda, item 8, is update and next steps on drafting an ordinance regulating RVs. So we just reaffirmed that we do want to work on this in 2023. I guess the question is, what are our next steps here? I do know we have like a Google Doc where we were brainstorming ideas. Do we want to recirculate that and then revisit it the next meeting? I admit I did not reread that document before this meeting.
I think that's perfect, Amanda. If we bring up that out, I think it was just an outline. I think I wrote something and we all started contributing to it. And if you put that on the agenda as discussion of RV outline, it may help us, because I think, like I said, that this will help focus if it's just a little bit we add to the zoning ordinance, or if it's actually something that stands alone, because there's so much to it. So I would love to just have it as an agenda item for discussion.
Okay, that sounds good. The only other thing I just want to put out to the universe here is that for this RV ordinance, this would be a great project if some student somewhere is listening to this recording and wanted to research, say, like common practices in regulating RVs or something. I think that's the sort of overview we're looking for this year, and that might fall to us, but there might be a way to also see if somebody wants to help us with that research.
And with that, and I agree, that would be wonderful if someone did their paper on RV laws. Just the question of the state of Utah and what they say, and I volunteer myself to sometimes look at the cyberspace universe and see if I can find anything. But we have to be careful that quite often the state of Utah will say, you don't get to regulate thus and such. And RVs is one of those we need to be careful of, because state and federal regs do apply to some of this. So I think when we're all just looking up things, those are things to be aware of and look for.
Maybe a question for Luann and Aaron. Is there at SULOG or at a statewide org, is there somebody we could potentially like have a meeting with to ask these questions? Like Michael Bryant used to be our contact, and
There might be someone at the Utah League of Cities and Towns who would probably be a good option. I know they're going into legislative session, so there's a lot of work that they're working on right now. However, I'm sure I can find someone, and I myself have to do a lot of background research on at the state level for other things I look at. So that would be helpful for me as well, to just kind of have that point person. So can you put that as a reminder for me on your first meeting in February?
Yes.
That's a great idea, because the specialists in the League of Cities and some of those other organizations really do advise well. And if we had a meeting with them, if they zoomed into our meeting and said, here are things to watch for, that would just be great. Because I remember we talked about things like, oh, we don't want to let RVs park here or there or wherever. And we ran up against, hey, you can't stop them from parking here, So I would love a little spiel.
Yeah. Well, great. Aaron, you and I can connect offline about that. But if it does seem like it's better to wait till after the legislative session, we could also do that. But
No, I was just thinking like, it'd be hard to get someone probably in the next like week or two, but I'm sure with a month notice, I should be able to at least get us pointed in the right direction, hopefully.
okay, sounds great. Okay, any other next steps on RVs or RV thoughts from folks? Okay. Item 9 on our agenda is items for our next agenda. So I have review of our RV outline, our existing document, potentially an update from the Utah League of Cities and Towns about RV regulation in Utah. Anything else that you would like to see on our February meeting agenda?
Would you like to pull out the sentence that caused us problems with the LUC? Would you like to have us look at that and make that a discussion item of, do we have a problem or did we just not understand? Because part of it was all of us looking and not, getting it. And some of it was the language.
Yeah, we could pull that out. That's a good idea. Okay. Anything else from folks for our next regular scheduled meeting reminder that we're going to miss our second January meeting because of the holiday week.
So it's February for our next meeting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. If no other updates, we will go to item 10, which is other. One thing in other, I just wanted to reiterate what Aaron said over email about conflict of interest forms. Aaron is determining whether or not you need to submit one if you don't have a conflict of interest. So hang tight if you're sitting in limbo.
Yeah, so just a comment that she told us that we had to submit one and have it in the file one way or the other.
Oh.
Thank you, Luann.
So in that case, everyone needs to submit it and it needs to be notarized.
I wonder if you have to I don't know if you have to notarize it if you have none.
Well, but you're swearing that you have none.
That you have none, I guess. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, she did say they wanted in the file with a no. I have no conflicts, but guess you'll. Yeah.
Okay.
And everyone is aware of where you find your friendly local notary, Marcia.
I'm a notary, but there is one at the bank. There is one at San Juan Credit Union. Just saying, I'm around if you need me. I have to go to the bank, but you can come to me.
Alrighty. Anything else under other this evening?
Nice job, Amanda. I would move to adjourn.
I second that motion.
Okay. Any discussion? All right. All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Meeting is adjourned at 6:43 p.m. Thank you so much, everybody, and Happy New Year. Nice to see you all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice job on